This bubble is, I don't think it's overstating the point that this bubble is the biggest of all history. And there's been a greater trust placed in us, the American system, the paper money, our Federal Reserve, our great wealth, and unfortunately our great military, because military can convey confidence in a currency. You know, if there's a war going on and one country's beating the other country, their currency goes up with a victory. So there's a lot of the, the perception of who will be victorious. So we came out, liberty didn't come out so well after World War I, but economically we came out pretty well. World War II, it's been on and on. So we've had this tremendous bubble build, and even in the old days they had inflation, but it was regional. It was never so universal and so worldwide. I sense in Congress today that the members of Congress are very, very worried and frightened. But lo and behold, they give $350 billion to Treasury, and it didn't seem to solve the problem. Markets haven't improved any. So they said, well, where'd the money go? Oh, well, we don't know where it went. Why would you ask us a question like that? So what do you do now? What should we do now? Well, give us another $350 billion. And what did the Congress do? I mean, last week we had two bills we debated related to the TARP funds. And the money, the rubber stamp was put there. So the new administration will get that $350 billion. But obviously, the spending and the borrowing and the inflating that created our problem is the only tool that they have left. And the only thing that's holding it together is a remnant, a small amount of confidence left in the system. Right now, it's still the confidence in the dollar.
Let's take a quick break and we'll be right back.
Does civil disobedience really get you excited? Go to freestateproject.org, get signed up, move to New Hampshire, get involved with the next wave of liberty activism, and be the next Rosa Parks. The Free State Project is your best chance for liberty in your lifetime. freestateproject.org.
I am reminded about, and a few of you in this room must, I'm sure, remember, in the 1970s, John Exter, who had some experience in central banking, he had this neat graph or demonstration where he had an inverted pyramid. And of course, at the bottom of the pyramid was gold, and above that, the different currencies. But even then, when he proposed that picture of how the economy inflates, there weren't even any derivatives that existed. And just think of what his concept was and his concern, and then you put $70 trillion worth of derivatives up at the top, and there's a tremendous rushing out of the lesser desired assets and rushing toward the bottom. But on days I just wonder exactly where we are in this gravitating down toward the peak and down to those very limited assets, which would be gold and silver. But right above that still is the dollar. Right, the dollar and treasury bills. I mean, people, they don't know where to go. They don't understand it very well. So they have billions of dollars. You can't go and get a CD. You got to buy treasury bills, and they're not hard to make. We can create those. We can create those out of thin air, rather easily. And down at the bottom, though, we would have several of the currencies that people still cling to. The yen isn't all that bad, and the euro is holding its own. But I think the British pound isn't doing too well and may not hold us. So they'll be whittled away. But in the meantime, the concept of central banking has not vanished. Yes, we have these growing number of kids on the campuses, and a lot of people like you out there studying and have understood this for years. But there's still a lot of people who believe very strongly in central banking. So as our movement grows and makes an effort to get rid of the concept of central banking and the Federal Reserve, we also have the group that have had the greatest deal of influence on our government, those who tend to have control over the Republican Party and the Democrat Party. It seems like Goldman Sachs has an influence on government, whether they're Republicans or Democrats. But those individuals who know about it are making their plans. About a week ago, we were told, and I went back a day early because I was told that Bernanke would be before our committee on Monday for some hearings to go over the TARP funding issue. And when I got there, he wasn't there, and they said, "Oh no, he couldn't make it. He was elsewhere." But it turned out that was the day, if you remember, he gave a speech in London on a Monday morning, and that was the news. He was over there. That was the cover, giving a speech. The speech was broadcast. It was on our news, and you can get the script. And we had the vice chairman of the Fed come before the committee. But what they didn't tell you is the day before, he was in Basel, Switzerland, at Bank of International Settlements, meeting with a few of his buddies, and they were talking. But I asked the assistant to Bernanke whether or not we could have those minutes, but he said, "No, you're not allowed." No, he didn't say that, but. And I closed my statement by saying, yes, I'm not allowed to have those because under the law, he doesn't have to tell us a thing. We complain about $700 billion and the Treasury blowing 700 and we can't make them listen to us. But that's peanuts compared to the trillions that the Federal Reserve has control of. But they know by now that this system is not viable. The way I see it in my mind is that the very weak system that came out of Bretton Woods was the fiat dollar standard. And it's lasted up until now. And it built a financial pyramid of debt, and it's worldwide. And that system has come to end because it quits functioning. I mean, everything is collapsing and closing down, and production is going down, and all the things that we are witnessing. But the dollar is still existing. But they're still trying to revitalize what built the big bubble. And of course, that is the creation of money and the creation of credit. But the one thing they don't have any control over is the restoration of confidence. Since the world has lost confidence in the dollar system, the only thing the politicians and the bankers have is to keep doing the same thing that gave us all the trouble. Now is print, print, print. And this is what they're up to. I think it's just a matter of time now. I'm absolutely convinced in my mind, I may be wrong, but I'm absolutely convinced that they can't go back and pick up the pieces. They're not. It's sort of like going back. The British wanted to go back and restore the pound at the old gold standard, which obviously didn't work. We can't go back to the old gold standard. We can't go back to the Bretton Woods. We can't go back to the post-Bretton Woods standard, and therefore something new has to come up. They're planning they're making their plans for what they think they should have, and I'm very confident that they would like to see, a one world central bank. The dollar hasn't done the trick. We were entrusted to run the system, but now they will have to take it away from us and take it away from the dollar, which means if they get away with it, they might be able to keep things going or get things started again, but I think we're going to be in charge. I think that we are destined to be a much poorer nation. That is what the handwriting on the wall. Of course, the world is going to be poorer too, and the question is whether they can devise a system. So time is short, and the arguments are very, very important, and I think we're making great progress. But the battle is going to be on the campuses. Just hopefully we have enough time to stimulate enough young minds that they can get in the right positions to give the right answers. This is one place where I've been tremendously encouraged on the campuses during the campaign, and there's a youth group, the Young Americans for Liberty has been a outgrowth of what we're doing, and I'm helping to the best of my ability to have them get organized. And we will be testing that. We will be going to the campuses. If I enjoyed traveling more, I would do it more often. But traveling is a job for me. I've had a lot of nice invitations.